What's going on, YouTubers? This is Seer6 here, bringing you more Star Citizen content. Today, we talk about what happens after death, along with medical gameplay. As a baseline for today's topic, you should, if not already, have read The Death of a Spaceman, an article written by Chris Roberts himself about how he envisions death within the verse. First off, I would like to address the problem of people who are misinforming others about what happens when you die. When my org has new players come in and start asking us questions, the first thing that comes to mind is, how does death work? And the harsh term that makes all gamers cringe is used, and that term is permadeath. Permadeath is not at all the correct term to describe how Star Citizen will work. When people hear this term, it makes them feel that as if when they die, they will lose everything and have to start over from the beginning. And that is not how the death mechanic was envisioned by Chris Roberts. From a financial standpoint, if this was the case, why would a backer like myself spend my income on an LTI ship, or any ship of that matter, only to find out that when I expire, so does my ship with the insurance it came with? The more logical thing to do would be to just buy UEC starting cash over time, and then just get ships in game. But with the limited amount of UEC you can daily purchase, people would just wait for the game to be released. This would cause less revenue for CIG and ultimately less funds to use to develop Star Citizen. Overall, all is lost once you die, forcing you to start from scratch and rebuild a fleet from in-game cash only. I'm sure every backer wouldn't put as much money down knowing that they could permanently lose thousands of dollars of in-game content, especially on LTI ships. So, without further ado, let's dive into the matter. Within the article, Chris Roberts explained that he wanted something more than just a simple respawn from both the Persistent Universe and Squadron 42. In the campaign, Chris emphasizes that you cannot just quick save at any given moment. Instead, you only can save once you complete the mission instead of just saving in space. If you die, you respawn moments prior to starting the mission you died on. The Persistent Universe is quite similar. If you die in the universe, you simply get respawned at the nearest medical facility or the last major city or space station you were at before expiring. Let's put this into perspective. Now, let's say you are transporting cargo. You start at Hurston and you are en route to a sector that has little to no security. On the way, you get attacked by pirates, and as a result, you, your ship, and its cargo is lost. Obviously, this is a tad bit far-fetched perspective, but please bear with me. So, depending on where you died, you'll have options to either spawn at a major location's medical facility or at a ship's med bay within the remote sector. If you have insurance on your ship, you get the stock ship back once you claim it. This means that if you bought and installed new weapons and ship equipment to further improve the capabilities, it is lost and you'll need to repurchase them again. Your character will also lose anything that is in its hand when you died, so as a gun for example. To further protect your assets, you will need to purchase more insurance to protect your cargo, ship upgrades, and any inventory that was lost on your character. With this explained, let us further discuss what happens after death. So each death you encounter puts wear and tear on your body. Depending on where it got hit, and depending on the severity, it may need replacing sooner or later, which is done with a cybernetic body part. After a certain amount of deaths and body part replacements, your body will give out and your character will pass away. Once you die, you will get a ceremony, and depending on what your character did, you could get recognition at the funeral. All this you see through a different player's eyes. All the rewards, standings, and titles your character earns is transferred to the next of kin, which is your new character. All your in-game assets will also be transferable to the new character, but it is taxed. All ships keep their insurance, and you will lose a portion of income due to the taxes. But rather than that, you will have the important stuff, which is your in-game assets. You will get a new character, and you'll get to continue doing as you please within the verse. So now, with death explained, let us talk about how to mitigate it through the use of medical rolls. Rather than the medical bends you can use, more critical injuries will need better equipment to overcome them. A simple stab in the arm will not be the solution to all your problems once a more dynamic universe is playable. So, in the event of an injury, you'll need medical attention one way or the other. Depending on the situation you are in, you could need transportation to a medical center or a medical ship. So the basic tier of medical ships is the Cutlass Red. The Cutlass Red is the ambulance or space ambulance. The Cutlass Red is designed to assist in the recovery of minor injuries, such as limbs being damaged, or to stabilize a patient while being transported to the nearest medical facility. The next tier is the Apollo. The RSI Apollo is a clinic for uncharted sectors. It also has the capabilities to recover from serious injuries such as multiple limb bleedouts or ruined limbs. The medevac variant could be used for ground combat operations. This ship is heavily armored, is more equipped for a combat lifesaver role, and can be used for search and rescue missions. This ship has the potential to fly in and land at a safe distance, and have an Ursa rover transport injured troops to and fro from the battlefield, keeping your Ord mates alive. Another option is the Carrack, which has a dedicated medbay. This also can be used for uncharted sectors, and is also an exploration ship. And last, but definitely not the least, is the Endeavor with a medical module. This is the hospital. This ship is able to assist in the recovery from near-death experiences and fatal injuries, such as dead limb replacement. And the ship may also be great for responding in the event that you cannot be saved in time. Medical missions will be important once the med pen is no longer the saving grace. Having to restock medical supplies at bases, finding stranded pilots in critical condition, and triaging people could be a decent income for people who enjoy a medical role within the verse. Of course, when it comes to being saved, hopefully players will generally pay a bit more in price so they can get the help they need. The only small issue is Orgs who say they are combat oriented. They'll need a dedicated medical ship always on standby in order to minimize the hassle of dying. Overall, this could mean you will die more often one way or the other for constantly putting yourself in harm's way. In the end, Chris is trying to make a rewarding experience for players. It makes you pick and choose your type of gameplay and further increases immersion, all without you having to worry about losing everything all at once. This gives you a sense of thrill and risk when you're smuggling through hostile territory or scoring a PvP dogfight kill. In the end, your choices, skills, wits, and teammates is what keeps you alive in the verse. I hope the information in the video helped you better understand how death plays an important role in the verse. If you have not already, please take a look at the Death of a Spaceman article and the medical gameplay post that is linked in the description below. If the overall video was helpful, feel free to like, subscribe, and tell others about my channel. But with that being said, I'll see you on the flip side.